Blog Talk Radio.
Hey everyone, this is Don Storie from NHBspot.com with our weekly MMA Wrap Up. This past week has been full of great fights and news. I'm going to run down some of them with you. First off, there was Bellator last Thursday, then Strikeforce Challengers Friday night, and of course UFC 121 Saturday night. All three cards delivered a great night of fights. Definitely did. Okay. Well, let's start with Strikeforce Challengers. The two fights that stuck out on that card were Roger Bowling versus Bobby Volker. Surprisingly, Roger Bowling lost to Bobby Volker due to TKO punches. It was a rematch from the fight last year, I think, earlier part of this year, due to the eye poke from Volker to Bowling, and he won on points. Okay, and then there was LeVar Johnson taking on Virgil Swicker, which is a heavyweight match, two huge heavyweights. Well, LeVar Johnson, as you know, was shot multiple times last year, I think on the 4th of July, and his doctor didn't even know if he was going to live. So, he came back, and he's fighting better than ever, and he's definitely earned himself a shot at Strikeforce's heavyweight elite fighters instead of the challenger cards. And then there was another interesting bout on that card. Julia Budd took on Shayna Olsen, and she actually beat Shayna Olsen. Julia Budd, this was her first pro fight. She made her pro debut, and she was very impressive over Shayna Olsen. And Shayna Olsen is kind of famous now because of the war of words she had with Aaron Tohill earlier in the year about Aaron not being able to make weight to fight her. So I'm pretty sure Aaron Tohill definitely laughed at the outcome of that fight. It was a good fight. Well, then we'll move on to Bellator, where Ben Askren defeated Lyman Good via unanimous decision, and he won his belt there, which it was a great fight. Ben Askren, he's a wrestler. A lot of people say lay and pray. That's kind of the new term, lay and pray. Well, Ben Askren is like more of a ground and pound fighter. He was in a fight, man. It was a dog fight with Lyman Good, but he prevailed, so he won. The Eddie Alvarez, he beat Roger Huerta in the end of the second round due to doctor stoppage. That was a great fight, but kind of shocking. Roger Huerta didn't look like he was all there, I guess you could say. He hasn't been impressive at all in Bellator. The Roger Huerta who was in the UFC was impressive. He was very impressive. He left after his fight with Kenny Florian, which he lost. But I don't know what's next for Roger Bowling, but Eddie Alvarez looked amazing. And there's rumors swirling around that Eddie Alvarez is going to face Gil Melendez sometime down the road, so we'll see. Now we're down to the UFC 121 card, which was amazing from top to bottom. As everyone knows, Cain Velasquez dethroned Brock Lesnar for the heavyweight belt, which was kind of shocking to me because, Brock Lesnar is an elite wrestler. He's not an elite striker, though. He's a good striker, but he was demolished by Cain Velasquez. I mean, Cain took him down, chased him around, stunned him, just beat him down. Worse than Shane Carwin did. He was not able to survive the beating like he was with Shane Carwin. Velasquez he was a better man that night, and he ended Brocktober 10 days earlier than it was supposed to be. Everyone thought Brock Lesnar was basically a lock to beat Cain, and, well, it just didn't work out that way, did it? Well, now we have Matt Hamill taking on Tito Ortiz, which a lot of people thought Tito Ortiz was going to smash Matt Hamill. including myself. I thought Tito Ortiz was going to, just beat Matt Hamill, take him down, pound him out. I was wrong. Matt Hamill took him down at will. He beat him on the feet. He did exactly what Tito Ortiz used to do to people. But, I guess it's the changing of the guard. Tito hasn't won a fight in 4+ years. And he's been sidelined. He's had multiple surgeries. But Matt Hamill definitely is moving up in the ranks in the title contention with that win. He looked amazing. And Tito, talked a big game, but he did not perform. Okay, the next fight, the next one of my favorites of the night was Diego Nightmare Sanchez taking on Paulo Thiago, and he dominated Paulo Thiago, and he was just the old Diego, the crazy Diego. Everyone, the yes, cartwheels guy, that Diego. He came out, outstruck Paulo, slammed Paulo, and just beat the crap out of him, which was surprising for me because Diego in his last 2 performances was not, the original Diego. So I figured he wasn't going to show up this fight, but he definitely did. He's back with Jackson's camp, so, maybe things are turning for the better for Diego, The Jake Shields fight, when he took on Martin Kampmann, it was a technical, boring fight. Jake Shields brings some of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to the table, but he is a boring fighter. He's very boring, and he won a decision over Martin Kampmann. To me, it seemed Martin Kampmann, he didn't put up much of an offense, but Jake Shields didn't put up much of an offense either. So that fight was really, really boring. It was pretty boring. But today we learned Patrick Cote was released from the UFC after losing 3 out of his last 4. He was dominated by Tom Lawler. Lawler took him down at will, smothered him, with punches, elbows, everything. And maybe he just needs to regroup, go out and have a few fights at some smaller organizations, get some big wins, train a little harder, and, he'll come back even stronger because he's a great fighter. Shane Carwin, he pulled out of his UFC 125 fight with a back injury. He was slated to face Roy Big Country Nelson. So, Roy's got to face somebody, and we're far enough out to where there can be a replacement fighter. Well, rumors are going all around the web that Mirko Krokop is going to come and take the place of Shane Carwin. I don't know if I like that, because he did the same thing for Big Nog versus Frank Mir, and everyone saw how that fight turned out. It was, 14 and a half minutes of just boring hugging. And in the last 30 seconds, Mir threw that explosive knee and knocked Krokop out. I think Krokop needs to retire, or just, he needs to retire because it's not there. Ever since UFC 70, when Gabriel Gonzaga high-kicked Krokop, knocked him out cold, he has not been the same fighter since. He is not aggressive. He doesn't use his leg kicks. He's a boring fighter. I just don't think he has his left in him. And if he picks up this fight with Big Country is going to knock him out, no doubt. That's what I believe. But, we'll see what happens. Tomorrow night we have the Bellator Fighting Championship, and we have 2 interesting fights on that card. We got Hector Lombard taking on Alexander Shlemenko for the middleweight championship. Now, Hector Lombard is an excellent striker. You've seen what he's done to his last, I don't know how many opponents. Knockouts, quick knockouts. Jay Silva, knockout 8 seconds. He's an amazing fighter. But so is Alexander Shlemenko. So this is going to be a tough fight. a very tough fight. And most people don't know Hector Lombard. You know, just the hardcore fans like myself, they have followed him. So he's relatively unknown to a lot of people. But he is an excellent, excellent fighter. So don't forget to tune into that because it's going to be a great fight. And the next fight that you'd like to check out, or I want to check out, is the women's 115-pound championship bout between Megumi Fuji and Zoila Frosto. That is going to be a crazy fight. Zoila Frosto, with her Muay Thai, her striking, her ever-improved ground game, versus the undefeated at 22-0, Megumi Fuji. She is amazing, man. She is out of this world. Her talent is just, you know, unmatched. She's never even been in trouble. She's never been mounted in a fight. You know, 22 straight wins. She's you know, got to be the number one woman female fighter in the world. She may not be on the pound for pound, you know, list, but you know, with that record, I don't think I think she's the only professional MMA fighter to ever start their career with 22 straight wins. So, you know, she's not a lock to win this because, you know, Zoila Frosto has power. She is strong. Her ground game is, you know, is questionable, but she's working with George Gurgel, you know, to improve that. So, you know, you definitely do not want to miss this fight because Zoila has a chance to, you know, knock off Fuji's undefeated record. Yeah, like I said, Patrick Cote was released today, which is sad news for me because I'm a huge Cote fan. You know, after, I think it was UFC 90, his fight with Anderson Silva, and he blew out his knee. He hasn't been as aggressive, you know, I don't think. He hasn't really been aggressive like he was before that. So, you know, good luck to him. Definitely good luck to him. I'm not really sure what's next for him. Let's see. Ken Shamrock fought about 2 weeks ago. If you follow NHBspot.com and you read some of the things I write, you know how I'm opposed against Ken Shamrock fighting. Well, Ken Shamrock's going to be fighting again in, I think, about 2 weeks for King of the Cage. He's going to be fighting again in, I think it's South Africa. So you might want to check that out. Yeah, that definitely doesn't interest me at all. You know, I just he should be done. He's way past his prime, so we'll see how that goes. Let's see, what else do we got? Okay, UFC 121, Brock Lesnar is supposed to be out for 6 months because of, you know, the beating he took, 6 months. So we'll see who's next for Brock Lesnar. Well, that'll be interesting. And okay, sorry, we cut off. Make sure you tune in to my weekly podcast and check out NHBspot.com for all the latest details on MMA news, interviews, you know, funny stories, funny videos.